That's our metaphor.
Hello, Nina Simonds.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, Coactive Training Institute.
Good to see everyone. I'm going to hide on video for now until we know who's here. Well, welcome everyone. We see people are coming in already.
Yeah, and as you're coming in, let us know, where are you zooming in from? Let us know your name and that location. We're excited to host you over the next hour.
I'm Nina Simonds. I'm based in Seattle, Washington, and that's where I'm calling in from.
And I'm Christie Mann, and today I'm in Costa Rica, in a town called Ojachal. Look at this.
Welcome,
We've
Chloe.
got people from California, Switzerland, Croatia, Canada,
Berlin.
yeah, my goodness, Spain's in the house, the Netherlands.
Welcome, Rajiv. Welcome, Nikki. Nice, Atlanta. And hi from Croatia. Wonderful, Jasmina. Good to have you all here. It's so fulfilling to see people coming in from across the globe. And that's the power of Coactive and our now our current reach, where we're doing more online work.
Yeah, so wherever you're zooming in from, welcome. We'll just give a couple more seconds here, Nina, and just have a few more folks arrive. And if you haven't heard the instruction, let us know where you're zooming in from and your name. Really excited to be here with you today.
Lovely to have everyone coming in.
And so what's it like in Seattle today, Nina?
Well, it was sunny enough this morning. I got to go out in the garden for 15 minutes. And then now it's overcast and typical spring day here. So, oh, we have more people from Seattle.
There you go. Typical spring day in Seattle. So welcome everyone to this the power of coactive coaching demo. Again, I am Christie Mann, one of your co-leaders and co-hosts today.
And I'm Nina Simonds, based in Seattle. We'll give you a little bit more about us in a moment, but if you want to share anything about your current mood in the chat, we're going to tell you a little bit more about how we're using chat and the Q&A features of Zoom today. But for now, we just want to get a pulse of how's everybody doing this morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on your time zone.
Yeah, so give us a word to describe your current feeling, vibe.
I'm open and a little excited, and so I'm managing my excitement.
Yeah. And some of you are putting emojis instead of words, and that's great too. Emojis can express where we are in this moment. And I'm similar, Nina. There's nerves and excitement. I'm ready to be here with you all and bring the power of coactive with my colleague.
Yes, and great to see the shout outs of people that I've had actually an experience in class with. So thank you for mentioning that, Gabriella.
Yeah.
All right.
We've got an array of human experience in the house, from curious to excited to energized. And so whatever you're experiencing, it is welcome in our coactive classroom.
Yes, yeah. Before we get started, we thought we would share just a couple minutes about ourselves, because a lot of times our students are curious about what do people do once they've been through training as a coactive coach and certified. I am an executive coach and a team coach. I also do private coaching as well, which I really love. I work a lot in professional services and in tech, and I like to work in the middle, what I call the middle band, managing director to VP. I like helping folks who feel that pressure from above and below, help them not only be successful, but have greater well-being at work and at home.
Thank you, Nina. And I am Christie Mann. I said this before, but I'm calling in or zooming in from Costa Rica. This is the land of the Barako people. Feel very honored to be here. And like Nina, I do a lot of my work inside organizations. And I am obviously on faculty with the Coactive Training Institute. And I'm also what's called a faculty partner. So licensed to bring Coactive inside organizations. We work with some of the world's leading organizations, and we train cadres of internal coaches in Coactive. We train people managers in Coactive and individual contributors. So my aim is to really humanize the workplace, and Coactive is definitely one way to do that.
Yes. So we want to give you a sense of what to expect today, our hour together, a little less than an hour together. We're going to bring up some slides so that we can share more about where we're headed. So welcome again to the webinar, Experiencing the Power of Coactive Coaching, Demonstration and Debrief.
So here's what you can expect. We're going to give you an insight into how we define coaching through the Coactive Training Institute, learn more about what it is.
We're going to share a coaching tool with you, and you're going to get to witness a live demo. Christie is going to be the coach for that demonstration.
We have a volunteer who I have yet to meet, or Nina has not met, so we're looking forward to meeting her and bringing her up on screen for this. And then through that, you're going to experience several coaching skills. And we're going to ask you to really zone in on the skills you're seeing, and then we'll debrief that.
Yes. And then we'll also get some questions from you. And those questions, what our request is that you put those questions in the Q&A so that we don't miss anything, because then we can mark them off as we are able to respond to them. And if we don't get to all the questions, we'll definitely give you resources for follow-up, but we do want to do our best to answer the questions, especially around what you saw in the demonstration and anything you want to know about our curriculum overall.
So how does this sound? Are you excited? Are you in the right webinar? Is this where you want to hang out the next hour? We sure hope so. Yeah, we got some celebrations and some thumbs up and some claps. All right, that's all it takes for me. I'm excited. Here we go.
Yes. So we always want to begin by designing our alliance. That's a key component of a coaching and a coactive relationship, because we don't believe we do our best to have a non-hierarchical relationship and really partner. And so part of that partnership is designing our alliance, even in this group, even in this webinar.
And so this is what we're going to do right now. Here are some of the agreements we're going to put into place. And normally when we're leading our courses, it's much more interactive, where the participants are going to be co-creating this with us. So for now, though, here's where we'll start. As you can see, there's two of us up here, and all of the Coactive Training Institute's courses have two leaders. That's really important, so you can see different modalities, different styles of coaching, diversity in how we lead from the same model.
Yes, and we want it to be as authentic as possible. We believe that authenticity is a core asset of coaching and of being in a coaching relationship. And so we don't script any of our trainings, and we're not scripted in this webinar, with the exception of these few slides that we have to share with you.
So this means we might talk over each other. It means that we might finish each other's sentences, and we might have different perspectives on different things, because it isn't scripted. And like Nina said, it's about really bringing our authentic self to the coactive model.
Yes. Confidentiality is a key component of every coaching relationship. We're making an exception for this webinar because we want people to actually get to see the demonstration. And so our volunteer client has agreed to be the client ahead of time so that we could talk to them about what topic they could bring, because the coaching in this particular webinar will be distributed. So, but most of the time, all of our demos, we ask for confidentiality in whatever room we're in. This is one of the few exceptions to that.
So please know that. And then some context that's helpful regarding what Nina just shared and our volunteer client is that they're going to be bringing a real topic. There's a tool we're going to share with you all today, and our client has taken some time with the tool in advance of this conversation and is ready to bring that topic forward. So we all want to be respectful of that and hold space for this client to hopefully have a really good coaching experience. I'm the one doing that. So that's why I said hopefully.
Yes, they will. I know they will. And actually, this is one of the things that was most exciting to me when I first started in the coactive journey, on my journey, was the fact that it felt so real because people were bringing their real selves and they were bringing real topics. And so it's one of the things that I think creates aliveness in our program.
Most definitely.
Let's see, what's our next slide? Oh, yes, we're going to define what coaching is. You probably, there's a lot of use of this word now, and we are relying on the International Coaching Federation's definition as coaching is partnering with individuals in a thought-provoking creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential.
Yeah, and in the coactive definition, we talk about holding our clients as naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. And when I look at the ICF definition here, it is really about trusting that the person has all the answers within them. We don't need to tell them, direct them, but we're really tapping into their own resource and their own creativity. We're partnering with them.
I love that. I love that. And I also love the thought-provoking. We're not there to ask them the easy question or the question that maybe they already know the answer to. A lot of times when you're in a consulting engagement or in more of a traditional conversation, there's questions that we ask that are like data gathering and like information. And really what we want is for that each client to be almost having this conversation with themselves and for us to ask questions that actually provide them with new information and new insight into whatever their topic is.
And so through the demonstration, you'll really see this come to life if you haven't seen a coactive coaching or a pure coaching conversation. And definitely in our curriculum, we go deeper into when you'd use coaching versus, like Nina's saying, mentoring or advising or consulting. They're all really important hats of leadership, styles of conversations that we all hold in our day-to-day. But of course, at Coactive, what we're really zoning in here is the modality of coaching. And this is how we're defining it.
Yes, and it's for the sake of them reaching their potential. Each person, we'd really take a stand for growing people rather than just focusing on problem solving. So you'll see that, I'm sure, in this conversation and the coactive coaching that you're going to see in just a minute. So shall we show them the tool? Yay.
Yeah. So some of you might have seen this, maybe it's new to others. And today we want to, well, like we said, we'll give you a demonstration of it, but we want to introduce this to you. You can use this with your clients, and it's called the Wheel of Life.
Yes, it's a self-assessment. So these categories can be changed. We use these because we found over time that they are relatively comprehensive, but people can often come up with your own in your own practice. You could even do a leadership wheel or a professional wheel. One of the keys about this particular assessment is it is very coactive in that the satisfaction rating is based on the client themselves' own satisfaction, not their partners, their bosses, or someone else in their life. It's their personal satisfaction in each of these areas.
That's really important. And know that these categories are not, they don't need to stay. They're not stationary. You could take this tool and put any headings. You could have more than 8 segments. Nina and I use this tool inside organizations a lot. And some of the headings might be organizational skills, presentation skills, time management, professional development, things as such. So just know that you can be very creative and use the tool to really help your clients figure out their level of satisfaction and hone in on a topic for coaching.
And just to make sure that we're kind of explaining what's here, the inner ring is 1, which is low satisfaction, and the 10 is the outer ring. And so this particular person who filled this out has like an 8 on family and friends and significant other, and a 4 on fun and recreation, and a 3 on health, and so on and so forth. So we've got a sense holistically of where they may be experiencing the most satisfaction and fulfillment, and where maybe things are a little bumpier or less satisfying.
All right. Anything else to say on the Wheel of Life, Nina?
I think you'll probably demonstrate it pretty well, Christie, but if people have questions afterwards, feel free to put those in the chat or in the Q&A, excuse me. I also want to mention right now that as we get into this demonstration, what we recommend is that you stay present. You can take notes on your own device or on a piece of paper. We want you to save your other comments for after, so that we're totally honoring the space that Christie and Hilke are setting in this particular real topic demonstration. So rather than using the chat, just put your questions on your own paper and you can add them at the end if they still feel important to you. So hope that makes sense. You can put them in the Q&A, and you can also make comments about what you saw in the chat. So both of those are welcome. Let us know if you have any questions about that. Otherwise, Christie and I agreed that I would, Christie, I didn't know if you wanted a verbal 12 minutes or me to flash on screen. What's better for you?
Can you pop it in the chat?
I can pop it in the chat. I will do that at 12 minutes. So we have 15 around roughly total. Okay.
Nina.
Awesome. I'm going to go off camera. I believe that someone else's Hilke's coming on camera.
Bring our volunteer client on. Thank you, Nina, for holding down the back of the room. Hilke, come on and join us. And maybe Laura or V, if you can help Hilke come on screen, that would be great.
Just be patient for a moment. Everyone's excited and ready to go.
We can envision that it's Hilke's coming into the office, the coaching office, and she's taking her coat off, putting her bag down. Yes. And there she is. She's coming in now to the coactive coaching room.
One other tip for you all is to focus on what you see Christie doing, and rather than getting really enthralled. Hilke, welcome in Hilke's story.
Sorry for the delay. I couldn't handle it in the beginning.
No problem.
No worries, Hilke. Thank you, Nina. All right, Hilke, it's so nice to meet you. I'm Christie.
Hi, I'm Hilke, and I'm really excited that I'm getting the chance today to be the coachee. So I'm looking very forward to it. Thank you.
And thank you for volunteering. It's very brave of you. And I know you were on the webinar from the beginning, and we designed our alliance. And I want to just check in with you. Is there anything in addition to what we spoke about that feels important for you to share with me as your coach, so that you really get the most out of this? You know, you feel safe and you feel like you can bring your full self to the experience.
Well, I would love if you would challenge me.
All right. So you're looking for some challenge from me as your coach. Okay. Okay. I can do that. You know, in this moment, I don't know what that will look like, but when we get into the topic, I think I'll get a sense. But if there's a time where maybe I'm pushing too hard and it just doesn't feel safe, will you push back on me and let me know that that doesn't work for you?
Yeah, sure.
Great.
Yeah.
There's a coactive coaching scale, actually two, of intrude and bottom line, and you might know what those are, and I just want to share them with our with the folks that are listening in. And I want to bring them forward, because sometimes when we coach, there's a lot of energy and excitement, and one of the beautiful things about coaching is I, as your coach, don't need all the context or the story. And so I would like to respectfully stop you, intrude, and maybe ask you a question that helps you get to the bottom line. Are you open to that?
Yes.
Are you open to that? That's okay if I do that?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. And you have permission to bottom line me too, if you know, if I get too long-winded. Just
okay.
you do so. Yeah.
Great.
Do you feel ready to drop in then to our coaching?
Yes.
Okay, so you did the Wheel of Life. Is there a specific topic area that you want to zone in on today?
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about it, and I hope the issue I'm bringing up is not too complicated, and it belongs to, on one hand, personal growth. On the other hand, it also puts a light on the significant others, family, kind of that stuff. But I think most of it is like personal growth. It's my issue is that I don't set the boundaries fast and strong enough. And I would like to get over that. Yeah, so that's very brief, very short.
Yeah, and okay, so I'm not clear if you want to zone in on personal growth or a significant other.
Personal growth.
You want to zone in personal growth. Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the rating you gave yourself at your level of satisfaction?
Well, I think I'm on my way. So I'm like 7, sometimes an 8. But I would like to go further.
Great. So at a 7, give us like a bottom line of what it's like for you.
The
to be at
feeling about
Yeah, what is it like to be at a 7 in your personal growth?
I feel satisfied. I feel hungry, like willing to have more. And since I know that there are some issues, I would like to get over them. So I think right now I'm brave enough and I have the strength, which you not always have, but I think right now I do have the energy and I would like to get further. So
Okay, that's really clear. So at a 7, so what I heard is like there's hunger. There's hunger for more growth. There's some obstacles that you're ready to learn how to overcome. And so there's a level of satisfaction, but you know that there's more for you.
yes,
Okay.
exactly. That's
All
it.
right. Well, let's say you rated yourself an 8. You gave yourself an 8 as far as personal development, professional development. What would be happening if you gave yourself an 8?
I think it should be a 9. I'm sorry, but I think it should be a 9 to be satisfied with myself.
Let's go to the 9 then. Let's jump right to the 9.
I'm sorry, but that's what I want.
I'm like so appreciating your enthusiasm and the hunger. This is another, like, it's like you have a value of growth. This is what I can hear. Growing is important to you. Does that feel okay? Yeah. And what just happened? I see some emotion coming up.
Yeah. Happiness, satisfaction, friendship, emotional, stable, things like that. Yeah.
So you're very moved by increasing this in your life, having more of this in your life. It touches you.
It touches me, and I think I need to get there, to get further, to be to have more of my life, to be more in my life, to live my life to another limit. I'm sorry, my English is not that well, but feeling that I get it, I get more out of my life if I can overcome this, as you said, obstacle.
Yeah. And I can really hear how important it is to you. Would you be willing for us to move around a little bit, like move your body a bit to access new information? Great,
You want me to
thank
get
you.
up?
Yeah, if that feels good for you, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to go right to the 9, which I want to acknowledge the hunger and the growth. So here we are. We're in the future. You're at a 9 with this personal and professional growth. What are you aware of at a 9?
I'm strong. I'm strong and I'm taller.
Yeah, the spine is really great. Yeah, I noticed like
going up to the ceiling, not really, but a little more.
Yes, I'm also noticing there's like a light. There's a lightness. Yeah. So what's it like to feel like a taller, stronger, lighter? What's that like for you?
Stable, confident. Nothing can make me, what do you call it, stumble, like fall,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm stable. I feel safe and secure and being in the center, being in my power. So that feels well.
And it's right here. Like, look how quickly you were able to connect to this experience. Like it's in you, Hilke. It's in you. I can really see it. Yeah. What else are you aware of at a 9?
Everything is fine. Everything can happen, and whatever happens, I will manage. And not only that, I will be well, I will be successful in what I'm doing, or even more successful than I'm already are. So that's feels, as you said, light, easy.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go even beyond the 9. Let's go to 10, right? We're in a 10 and you can choose to go anywhere after this conversation, but will you play with me? And like, let's go to the 10. You
Sure.
give your 10. Okay. So how might you stand or sit? What's the body posture for a 10 for you?
I would like to sit on the table, things like that.
Yes.
You want me to
Okay.
you want me to sit on the table?
Well, I'd love for you to stay on camera. So whatever is accessible.
I can handle that though.
Yeah.
That's okay. So yeah.
Tell me what is it, express what the 10 brings into you. What are you aware of at a 10?
Maybe I don't, maybe it was already the 10 I've been experienced before, because I think it's like the 9. It's I feel very into the driver's seat, you know. I'm in my power. I'm in it, and I'm calm. I feel everything is where it should be. Everything is on the right place, and I'm in the middle, and I feel right there where I should be.
You're
I would
even
like to
more,
stay there.
and you want to stay there. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that. Well, and even from the 9, you know, you seem even more relaxed, and it just took you deeper into this experience that you're longing for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Calmer.
Calmer. You're calmer.
Yeah.
What's important to you about having more calm, more ease?
You're asking why I'm longing for that?
Yeah, what's important to you about it?
Having the energy, and also being able to give the energy to my beloved ones, my family, my friends, my partner. So
Yeah. I get what I'm hearing is, you know that if you grow yourself, you have more to give back to others.
yes, even though I know I already give a lot, so maybe sometimes it should rest some for me, but right now, yeah, it's for the others as well. Yeah.
That's a great distinction. So you know that this growth gives you more for you, and of course, more for others. That's a really important distinction. What's important about you really honoring yourself from this place?
That I'm that it's fine to be honoring myself and being there for the others, and being able to be there for my family, or I'm there for my family, but to give them the same emotional stability, because I'm in my center. Maybe that's it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, so from this place, the place of 10, what is one next step you're willing to take? Thanks, Nina. I see you. Thank you. What's one next step you're willing to take to support you to move your satisfaction from the 7 to the 9 to the 10? One step.
Yeah, that's exactly the question I'm always thinking about. I don't have the solution on that one. I know how I would like to feel, but I'm not sure how to get there.
So may I throw out something?
Please.
Okay. And this is in the coactive coaching. We'll make a request as coaches, and you yes, no counter offer me. Okay.
Yes.
So will you every morning take 10 minutes to stand tall in one place and just be with yourself?
Meaning meditation?
Sure. It could be a meditation.
Okay.
I'm kind of pulling from what just happened in our conversation. And so, yeah, if it's meditation, will you do that every morning for 10 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And how will that support you to move from a 7 to the 9 to the 10?
To reflect more on me.
Yeah.
Actually, I already have it on my to-do list, but I didn't do it yet. So thank you for challenging me. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Yeah, what else feels like a important next step for you in this moment?
Well, starting with diary. And also taking the next step into coaching. So to get on that one.
Okay.
Being a
So
coachee,
what,
not being a coach. Yeah.
being a coach. So, and what is
No,
that
no, no,
next?
being a coachee.
Being a coachee. So hiring a coach. You're looking to hire a coach. Beautiful. And how does that support you to move from the 7 to the 9 to the 10?
More challenges, I think. The thing you started right now, thank you for that, is I need someone to help me to cross the border, to get over my little obstacle over there, which is not that little, because otherwise I would have already left it behind me. So
Well, okay, you've got two really good next steps that sound like they're going to support you to move this part of the wheel forward. How do you want to hold yourself accountable to making this happen?
myself, mm, well, I do it for myself, but to have like somebody looking after it, I could ask my sister to challenge me myself. Yeah.
So my request is, will you ask your sister to hold you accountable to your morning meditation and finding a coach? Will you do that?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
I will do that. Thank you.
I want to acknowledge your willingness to grow and where it's coming from. I can see how much you care about your own well-being and the people that are around you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for bringing me to that point and coaching me on that issue. Thank you.
Well, you're brave. Thanks for volunteering. Thank you, Hilka. We're going to bring, Nina's going to come back on. And for our folks that are here, feel free to put an acknowledgement in the chat and in the coactive skill set. It's like, who do you see this human being? It's like, Hilka, you are brave. And you can put some of those in the chat. And Hilka, your job is just to receive that. You can put an emoji as a way to express your appreciation for her as well. Yeah, she is
Beautiful
brave.
work, both of you. Thank you so much, Hilka, for bringing your full self to the demonstration and for sharing vulnerably and courageously. So yes, we have lots of great acknowledgements in the chat, and people are inspired by your example. Yes, good work, Christie. So we're going to talk now about what we saw. So feel free to add things to the chat, what you noticed, what you saw Christie doing, what she wasn't doing, maybe who she was being, what qualities you saw, and then I'll get us started with a couple of things. First of all, I want to just make note that she started by designing a bit of an alliance with Helka. Anything you're wanting in this from me in this interaction we're going to have, this coaching session, and got right away something around challenge, and then Christie kind of designed that even more with her so that she felt like they were in sync and aligned on what challenge meant. And I thought that including bringing in the idea of maybe intruding or bottom lining, because those are helpful ways to keep the conversation moving forward. So she brought in some coaching language as well. just to kind of create and set the stage. Yes, so it's really helpful, Anna, to your point, there was a willingness from the client to move, right? And Christie was curious. She asked her, you know, just directly, what's your current rating for personal growth? And she told her it was a 7. And then she asked a powerful question. What's that 7 like for you? Christie, anything that you're wanting to add about the beginning of the session or what you were going for when the topic was selected?
Maybe I'll just say, in using this tool, it is really helpful to ask
Yes.
a little bit about your current rating. We don't need to spend the whole session talking about that because the client already knows their current state, but it's good to get a barometer and then maybe ask them where they want to go, where they want to be. And then that's your topic.
Yes, so not making up assumptions, not needing to poke around the whole wheel, but where was it right away? Where do you want to focus? And holding up a compassionate mirror, to Brandy's point. Yes, the whole conversation felt empowering, and there wasn't a lot of Christie second guessing what Hilke wanted. It was all just really in line and full of what we call championing. She was championing her throughout the conversation. I loved the dancing in the moment. We have a cornerstone called Dance in This Moment. When Christie asked her about the 8 and Hilke wanted the 9, and Christie was right there with her. Let's go for the 9. What does 9 feel, look like? They did some embodiment, which is actually a really key part of coactive coaching. We believe, and actually there's now neuroscience that shows that we have just as many neuropeptides in our heart and in our body and in our gut as we do up here. And so by bringing her into a posture, she was allowing more space and room for that. Feel free to put any questions that are coming up for you about anything in the Q&A, but I'll keep looking at the comments. No pressing for a definition from Nadia. Yeah, it really was about an experience and bringing Hilke into the experience of the 9 rather than defining what 9 was. But every coach and client are going to do it differently, right? So you might get someone who's more curious about what is a 9. Not only what does it feel like, but what are some elements of the 9? What would be happening? Who would you be with? Those kinds of questions are all good, powerful questions. So it was a good noticing, Nadia, and no right way to do that part. What are you aware of at a 9? Yes, that's what we call a process question. One of our principles is process. How do we keep the client in the moment? So love that you noticed that. She also asked for permission a couple of times, especially towards the end. May I throw out something here? We always want the client to feel like they're directing the session as much as possible. And of course, we are holding the container as the coach, but we also want that client to feel like they have choice and agency in where the coaching goes next. And so I thought it was great. Asking for permission is a coaching skill, and we want you to know that that is part of being a good coach.
That, and I brought in the coactive skill of requests. So like Nina said, as coaches, we're wanting the client, the coachee, to really come up with their own solutions as much as possible. But when they're stuck or they need someone to thought partner with, we have the skill of request. So you throw something out as a coach and don't be attached to it because it may not be the right thing, and ask the client to yes, no, counter offer. This is where like a co-creation comes in. I first asked for her to stand tall for 10 minutes a day, and then she came up with meditation. So you see how that was like, it was a co-creation. It wasn't where we started, and that's what we're after. That's the partnering piece.
Yes. Yeah. So what they create together is going to be more powerful than what either one of them does on their own. Great noticing. We have an acronym, AWGO, that Anna has put in the chat. We call that articulating what's going on. A lot of people think of that as active listening, but we're actually wanting to observe and sense and share back. So again, that mirror. So I think there was a couple of different moments that I captured. One of them was you seemed moved. So not stepping over anything, but recognizing emotions as they're coming up and allowing the client to name what that emotion might be. I also heard it when she said, I hear blank, blank, blank. I didn't write down the whole thing, but anytime you start, like she was recapturing what personal growth meant to Hilke. Yes, Karen's already got her first acronym. Yay! Yes, so team coaching. Yes, how does the 9 feel? And follow-up questions from there. I don't know what the dream question is. I'm 100% sure though that we are a lot of times in dreaming with our clients. Like we want them to dream big. That's part of the transformational process.
Yeah, it's coaching, coactive coaching, we're in the present and the future. So that skill of dreaming or visioning, we call it, is a really important part of our process so that the clients can get new resource, access. Nina brought in the neuroscience, access different parts of their brain. Because if we are asking them about, well, what have you done so far? There's no new information. They already know that. And so that's where the visioning is really important and comes in.
Yes, and that is from our fulfillment principle. And the other thing you saw from fulfillment is when she did ask about a value, she did say, it sounds like X is important to you, growth. And it sounds like you have a value around growth. And so by naming that, hopefully our clients feel more seen and maybe even learning new things about themselves. I know with some of my clients, sometimes when I've articulated back what I'm hearing might be a value, they're like, oh, yeah, I didn't even realize that, but absolutely, that is that is so important to me. And so listening for those values and then feeding them back is a key part of coactive coaching. Anything else that you all want to ask, please add it to the Q&A. We're kind of starting to wind down the debrief, but if there's anything else that I just want to outline at the end that we always use the last bit of coaching to create some accountability. And Christie and Hilke did this beautifully, not only asking her what she would do, but then what kind of support does she need to make sure this happens, right? And notice that Christie didn't say, how do you want me to hold accountability, but how does the client want accountability held? That's really what we believe, so that they are doing the work in between sessions and we're not creating an artificial dependency on the coach, because we want them to grow beyond the coaching relationship as part of the work.
That's a great distinction, Nina. And for those of you that might be using coaching skills as a people manager, the accountability piece might look different. You might ask, how can I hold you accountable? What's the accountability? And design it with folks that are reporting into you. But in this construct, we really want the onus to go on the client so that they're developing that ability to really hold themselves to their commitments.
Yes. And I also see a comment about our focus being on her growth and on what Hilke wants, not necessarily on the problem or the challenge. So that's such a key distinction between coaching and other modalities that you might be working with to problem solve or help someone. We are growing the person, not the problem. And that's the idea, is that they already understand the problem pretty well. They can articulate it pretty well. How do we grow their vision and what they want to create in their lives and in their work? So that's a key thing. I'm glad you all noticed that. We don't always start with the wheel, and I think it might be a good time to actually move to our Q&A, and we'll add Daniel and Nikki's question at the end, but let's start with the first one, which is, Hilke mentioned something at the beginning about setting better boundaries, but I noticed we didn't really follow up on that thread. Wendy, great noticing. Anything you want to add there, Christie, about, I don't know if you remember that moment in the coaching or not?
Yeah, I think it just I was seeking clarity on what the topic was. So if you remember at that moment, it was, are we going in the direction of relationships or significant others, or personal development, professional development? And that's what I was really listening for. What was our topic? And so that's really what happened in that moment. There was no other things going on other than getting clear on the topic.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, we're not saying there's any one right way to coach in terms of like the direction. So Wendy, it might have been a great question to bring in at some point. How would you be handling boundaries at a 9? I think that's a beautiful question. So the fact that you noticed that is amazing. So I want to actually go back to one of the other questions that was partially answered from an anonymous attendee. If you are asking thought-provoking questions, aren't you also directing the client? And I just think that's a great question, because there is obviously, we are not 100% neutral as the coach, right? We can pretend that we are 100% neutral, and we do a lot of training to self-manage and to come from a coactive stance. And of course, you're bringing yourself to the coaching. Of course, you're going to ask questions that are based on what you're curious about. And so the key there is, how do you make sure that the focus is still on what the client wants and that you're making as few assumptions as possible? And so that's what we balance when we're training our coaches. We balance them bringing their authentic selves with using the coactive model.
Brilliant. And then maybe this was partially answered as well. Why didn't you ask Hilke what the current problem was? So asking what the current rating is, and then I asked, like, give me a bottom line of what's that like. So that might be what you were going for, Anna. In this context, right? We're looking to grow the person, not the problem. So we coach the human, coach the person, and we don't put emphasis on the problem. But you saw, like, getting a current state, what's that like? And then what do you want? And then we spent the bulk of the conversation, like 80%, in this exploration phase, having her be in what she wants and really getting into that.
Yes. So Daniel's asking, how similar is individual versus team coaching? There are some distinctive differences. I would say that both modalities have the same baseline of asking powerful questions, being client-centered, focusing on vision and values, also important to a team. You know, the biggest difference is that the focus of the client itself is not an individual, but it's the team itself. So if you want to know more about that, feel free to just, actually, there's a lot online about this, but feel free to reach out to us if you want to also know more about how coactive would help you with team coaching.
I'm going to go to Ritu's question in the Q&A. There's two here. So they're asking also, as for accountability in the moment, they might say, yes, I can do that. And then often they don't follow through. Then what? Okay, so here's the spirit of coactive coaching, is that it's about deepening the learning and forward the action. So if clients walk away and they've committed to things, and then they come back to the next session and maybe it didn't happen, we get curious about, well, what happened instead? Or what did you learn? And because it's not so much about doing the thing, it's about the growth and the learning of the individual. That's our orientation in coactive coaching.
And we do take a both and stance. So it's not an absolute, but oftentimes by growing the person, they are more resourceful around whatever that topic is. And so, of course, sometimes there might be homework around the original thing, like I'm going to get better at saying no. Or if I was working on my health, I might have a goal of walking every day. And my coach has spent some time helping me be in the mindset of what's going to help me get more traction on whatever that quote unquote challenge is, right? Okay, there was another question in the chat about, do you always start with the coactive wheel? I want to make sure we talk about that. No, it's not a given. You can actually start anywhere. A lot of times over time, your clients just get better at bringing topics. How do you help your clients find topics, Christie? Do you have any tips there or any secrets?
Well, what I normally do with folks is 24 hours before we meet up, we have a Google Doc that things are captured in, and they go in and they report out what happened since the last session, the action that they took, whether it happened or not, what they learned, and then what do they want their topic to be. So generally, clients are coming with a topic, but if they don't have one, you can just start with, like, what are you aware of now? What's happening here now? And coaching can happen from what's in the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that prep sheet can be super helpful. Anna's asking, is it possible to have a conversation where you use coaching and other styles, i.e. advising in the same discussion? Absolutely. We often use the metaphor of what hat are you wearing, and just being explicit with your client. It sounds like you're wanting some advice about this. I often will delay it towards the end of the session and start with coaching just to make sure, because a lot of times they get their needs met through coaching. And then I might leave 5 minutes at the end, like, what else is coming up for you around the topic that might be more of a mentoring conversation? Or the reality is that I'm not an executive inside a company, and I'm not inside specific companies. And so a lot of times the context is so different for each client. So it's so helpful for me to stay in the coaching stance, because then I'm going to be more powerful a more powerful partner for them and tapping into what they already know.
And what I'll add to that, and Frederique, your answer or your question in the chat, hopefully this is speaking to that as well, is some of my clients are coming to me for mentoring. And so we're just very explicit. This is me now putting on my mentoring hat, and we can do mentoring conversations or advising conversations in a coach-like way. So I can offer my perspective or my experience and then ask them, what do you think of that? Or how would this support you? So we can still be coaching around guidance we're giving. Right. In the coactive context, we're really helping people learn pure coaching. And then as we grow our ability, we can bring in other modalities. And it's great to be transparent about it, right, Nina, when we're shifting modalities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, we are so, we're starting to wind down. I love all the questions. They've been wonderful. I thought the demonstration really gave you a taste of kind of the fullness of what can happen in a coactive coaching conversation. And of course, it was only 15 minutes. And a lot of times our sessions will be 30 minutes, 45 minutes, almost an hour. So hopefully you can see the potential there. We have these calls are every month. We have some online that you can go back and listen to if you'd like. If you want to see and watch other coaches, other coactive faculty members using coactive skills, because each one is different.
And you will receive an email after today with access to this recording, know that. And our team behind the scenes here gave you links to other resources on the Coactive website where you can tap deeper into community conversations and events through CTI. And International Coaching Week is coming up the week of May 13th, and CTI is doing an event. Well, there will be different tools, conversations, demos, presenters that you can access that whole week so that you can go deeper into coactive and to this particular modality of coaching.
Yes, yes. And then Brandy, the difference between coaching and mentoring, that could be a whole webinar. Bottom line answer is mentoring, oftentimes you've walked in the shoes of the people you're mentoring. So both Christie and I do mentor coaching where we work with students or newer people who are in certification, who are learning how to coach, and our conversations with them are a mix of coaching and some mentoring, some like, this is what I did when I grew my business, or this is how I handle that issue with a client. So we do blend them together occasionally, but even when I'm working with executives, sometimes they want a coach and a mentor. They want someone in their organization who's going to be championing them and also helping them with some of the specific issues that their organization has. And then I'm more interested in growing them and in their development as a full person.
There's, I guess we have a couple minutes for a few more.
Sure.
So we're going to ask, sometime the client really feels they need to tell us the context. So what advice can you give on this? So actually what I did in that demonstration is some of the advice I'd give. I'd say, as coaches, train your clients on the skills of intrude and bottom line and ask permission to use those. I have found that then gives me so much more ability to come in service of the client, in service of us getting to the heart of the matter. And I think explaining what coaching is. So I always ask folks, especially if they're new to coaching, what's your definition of coaching? And coaching is more mainstream now, more people understand, but typically we do need to really explain to them that I'm not a consultant, I'm not here to give you the answers. And so I'll be asking you more questions, and I don't actually need to know all the context. So training, bringing in those two skills and asking permission to use them is a way I would approach that. How about you, Nina? What would you add?
Great. Yeah, I do think it's just more about having the client experience the value that happens when they don't have to share everything, right? And I do think each individual is different. I know that for some clients, sharing some of the detail is a way to process it and a way to get clear. And for other clients, they don't need that much, or they feel like they're just doing it to be a good client. And so that's the thing you want to disrupt. Are they sharing because they feel like you need to know, to Christie's point, or is it because it's part of the learning for them? And so you can even design that with them. If you notice that's happening quite often in the coaching, you could ask them about it and just get clear on what do they really need. And oftentimes they don't mind more bottom lining and intruding. So there is a coaching day on May 15th. I don't have anything to add to that. I'm not sure if it's, I assume it's for anyone. Usually our events are very open, but I don't know for sure. So we may need to follow up with you, Selena, about that.
It's just a little bit further down the chat, May 14th and May 15th. And there's a link there where you can register for the events.
Perfect.
It's been designed for all different levels of experience, and hopefully you'll find something that resonates and you'll join.
Yes. As we're completing, we just want to share our appreciation for our back-end team who puts this together, and for our registration folks, all of you joining us. We're so happy that you came. If you want to check out with an appreciation you have or something that you learned, and then here's ways to stay in touch with us. So we're active on all the cool platforms.
You can find us in all those places, and remember to come back the last Tuesday of every month, and you'll, like Nina said, meet different coactive faculty. And we hope to see you in International Coaching Week on May 14th and 15th, or in a classroom soon.
Yes, we'd love to see you online again or in person. There are some in-person courses happening in some of our major cities. I think there's a fundamentals coming up in Denver. And we're always running in San Rafael and Toronto, and I think occasionally in DC. So those are the US, and there's lots of options in Europe for in-person. I'm actually jealous of how many cities are in person in Europe. So take advantage of that if you have the means and the ability to get yourself there in person.
Thanks for giving us an hour of your time. We hope it's been valuable. And thank you, Nina, for co-dancing, co-leading with me. Appreciate it.